Hello, everyone. My name is Michele Dionne, and welcome to my series called Taking Control. There's so much stuff going on in the world right now that we can't control, and it is of the utmost personal value to us each, collectively and individually, that we focus on things that we can control. You know, it just gets really overwhelming out there with everything going on. So I thought I would gather together some people that I know in our local community here in Sarnia Lambton so that we could look at different assets of our life that we can control. So as part of that, I wanted to start with my own personal video. We'll call it episode 1, if you will, where I'm going to just touch base on some different things that weren't covered in the interviews that I did with some people in our community. So I thought that was a good place to start. So thank you for joining me and taking the time to do this with me, and so that together we can focus on some different things. So, you know, good health starts with food, fitness, and fulfillment. It's very important that we control the things that we can. So I wanted to start with that in this episode. And we're going to go from there. So I have some slides I want to share with you. So please have patience with me as we go through these slides and just cover some things that might be basics, might be things that you already knew, but they might also be things that are new to you as well, and things that you haven't thought of. You know, we're very distracted by the media and other things that are going on. So together, you know, we can be creative and pull out some good ideas of things to help, you know, get us through this time together. So the first thing I wanted to talk about today was I wanted to talk about the power of our thinking. You know, it's really easy to get caught up in that negative flow. We need to turn that around as quickly as we can. When we start feeling hopeless, anxious, depressed, all those things that unfortunately are rampant right now, and turn it around and change the way we're thinking. And the words that we're using are so very important. So I want to share this slide with you. And it is a mindset shift during a pandemic. So, you know, it's really easy, like I say, to get caught up in that negative thinking. So if you change your words, change it around a little bit, it makes a really big difference. So for example, instead of thinking to yourself, I'm stuck at home, right? It's so limiting and confining. Changing that around to, I get to be safe at home and spend time with my family, or maybe you're alone. Just changing it from I'm stuck at home to I'm safe at home. One is limiting, one is empowering. If you don't have your family with you, that's okay, because you know what? Obviously you have the internet. We have so many different options that we wouldn't have had, you know, 10 years ago, 20 years ago. Imagine if this is 20 years ago going through exactly the same thing. How isolated we would be without the internet, without access to all these devices, without being able to go on Zoom or go on a Facebook chat and hit that video camera and actually see somebody. You know, you can't hug them, but you can still see them. You can still have a laugh together, read their emotions, that sort of stuff. Very empowering right now. The next one, I will get sick. Instead of thinking and saying that to yourself, you can say, I will self-isolate and wash my hands, and this will significantly decrease my chances of getting sick. You know, it's just like when we look at the statistics, instead of looking at how many people, you know, are passing away, look at how many people are surviving, how many people are recovering. There's a lot more people that are surviving and recovering than they are that are actually passing away. So what are you focusing on? Very, very important. The next one, everything is shutting down. I'm panicking. Instead of turning it around and thinking the most important places, such as medical centers, pharmacies, and grocery stores, are remaining open. And I can't imagine there would ever be a time that those places will not be available to us. We are always going to have access to food. The next thing, there is too much uncertainty right now. Absolutely true. There is a lot of uncertainty right now. But when you change it around to be, well, I can't control the situation around me. I can control my actions, doing breath work, calling loved ones, getting enough sleep, proper nutrition, prayer, doing activities I love at home will all help during this time. And that's the thing. Those are the things that we can control. That's where our power is. So it's so important that we take that in. You know, we can be cleaning, we can be organizing, we can be having conversations with people that we haven't maybe talked to for a while. Maybe we wouldn't have talked to at all. It's an interesting dynamics that you can get some really positive things out of what's going on right now that otherwise, you know, would be very limiting. So looking for the positive is also very, very important in this time. Another way we can stay positive is by tapping into our own community. Now, I'm basing this on Sarnia because this is my community, but wherever you are, I'm sure you have community pages. Now, I picked this specific group. There's a lot of other ones that are out there that are supporting Sarnia Lambton area. But the reason why I picked this particular group is they all have Sarnia in the name, which is very important if you're Googling or searching through Facebook, trying to track down ones that are related to your community. So these are good ones. And there's some other ones too, but some have drama, and I'm a no drama mama. So I'm trying to avoid as much drama as possible, which it's impossible to avoid all drama, but we do the best that we can. So just for an example, Sarnia Rocks, which is actually one of my own pages that I run. It's a great one for getting updates on real things that are going on in the community, not what my uncle's friend's sister's neighbor said. And also I've been sharing on there. I invite everybody to share on there. We've been sharing what's going on in small businesses. I've been sharing Sarnia City Council meetings. Lots of different people in the community share on there as well. And when I go to different, which I'll share in a minute, different Facebook pages where people are uploading their own music and whatnot. When I see a Sarnia person, I've been sharing them on there, and shout outs to all sorts of people in the community that have been sharing on that page as well. And all these pages that I'm mentioning to you here and that you can see on the slide are all ones that anybody in the community can add to. So there's Sarnia Rocks, Sarnia Kindness Elves, Sarnia Caremonger Group. Those are both ones where you can find things for free or put a shout out. You know, I need some diapers for my child, you know, whenever I can't find them, then people will donate them or maybe sell them, or people are giving stuff away. So, you know, they'll post on there, I have some clothes for a size 2 boy. Does anybody need them? I've got some extra whatever, or, you know, so it's a great way to be those good humans that we really are, and, you know, give and receive. And right now, with everything going on with our stress levels, there's no better feeling than doing random acts of kindness. And, you know, we do them, most people do them because they make you feel good. Do it because it's the right thing to do. So it's not about videotaping or recording them. It's about doing it because it's just the right thing to do. So those are great pages where you can go if you have something to give, post it on there. Or if you have a little extra, go on there and see where maybe you can help out someone else. Maybe somebody's looking for something that you happen to have, right? Or even I had a friend recently who her washer or dryer, I can't remember now, but I noticed on a Facebook post that it had broken down. Talk about crappy timing, right? So I just took her information and I shared it on one of those groups, and turned around and people started saying, you know, I know somebody who rebuilds, or I know where you can, like, it doesn't have to be free, but I know where you can get one that's economical and it's going to work. So it's a great way for you can reach out and help people, reach out for help, or just feel good about, you know, people that are, I'm seeing so many great things in the community that people are stepping forward outside of what is their usual comfort level, and then they're going the extra mile or doing some extra things. And that brings me to the next group that I've shared in my list, which is called Supporting Sarnia Businesses During COVID-19. Now, they change the name from time to time. So if you look it up and it's close to that name, but not really that name, then go ahead and click on it and check it out. And that is a page that's been brought together by a local family. And what they're doing is they're supporting local small businesses. So a lot of restaurants, a lot of like hair, nail, service places, that sort of thing, are all sharing their wares and different things that they're offering. I mean, they're all thinking outside the box, right? Which is awesome. So you might have a hair place that can't offer that service, but they can offer hair products or tips or that sort of thing. I have a girlfriend who has a nail, she does nails for a living. And so she's selling other things that can help people do their nails, or creams and lotions and that sort of stuff. This is the time we really need to rally around those small businesses that are trying to keep their people employed, trying to keep their businesses going, and honestly, trying to stay in your memory. You know, after this, we've been closed down for so long, you certainly want to keep your business name, even if you're not open. Keep it fresh, keep it in people's minds so you're not forgotten, right? Also, dog groomers, I think, are posting on there. So a real variety of places that are posting where it's very interactive and, again, lifting people up. These are all pages that I can honestly say I haven't seen any negativity on. So they're definitely ones that you're going to want to like, because when you like these Facebook pages, they automatically come up in your news feed. And it's funny because somebody posted today something about getting off Facebook, and I'm seeing these posts all the time, getting off Facebook because it's so negative. And it's unfortunate to get right off it because there are advantages to it, whether it's seeing people you love, you know, through their pictures and the things that they're sharing, or being connected to things that lift you up. So, you know, going through and taking that effort to clean your Facebook up, maybe stop, you know, unjoin some groups, maybe unfollow some people, and add some things that lift you up and make you feel good. So on that note, a great page that you could be following is You Gotta Love Sarnia. And that is a page where it's all positive and it's all like beautiful pictures and drone footage and all sorts of local things boosting up this area that we live in. And chances are, again, if you don't live in this area, you very well might live in another community where someone is doing a similar thing. And I hope so, because every community has something to offer, right? Like that is the reality. So again, surrounding yourself by things that lift you up, keep you informed, but not by like mainstream media and that sort of thing. They have their purpose, don't get me wrong, but you want to make sure that you're very careful what you're following, because there's so much wrong information out there. You know, like following the Sarnia-Lambton Council meetings, for example, they have a doctor that works with the Blue Water Health system, and so we know we're getting accurate numbers. We know we're getting real-time information that is accurate, as opposed to being surrounded by all sorts of articles. I see people sharing, and then I look, and I'm like, oh, wow, that's in Texas. I'm pretty sure here in Sarnia, Ontario, we don't need to worry about that. So surrounding yourself by an atmosphere that lifts you up and just ties you in deeply with your community, because at the end of the day, it's only these things around us that really are affecting us directly. So my next slide, I want to stay on the same path of staying positive. So some different ways you can do that is, like I said, cleaning up your social media and your emails. During the first few days that I started being at home, because I've been working from home since the very beginning of March. So one of the first things I did is every day I went off, I like declined from at least 3 email lists that I was on. So I unsubscribed. So all that junk mail that we get, you know, it was absolutely crazy. So I started just every day, just a couple of them, I would just unsubscribe, you know, all the stuff you bought over the years or whatever, you're on all those lists, right? So I started doing that. I've been meditating for years, but if you haven't, make sure that that's something that you consider trying. If you're already doing it, and that's one of the things that was happening with me, is that I'd sort of got out of the habit of meditating as regularly, and now I'm doing it again. And that is definitely helpful. Don't get overwhelmed about doing it wrong and needing a pillow and you got to sit up and have a good back and all this other stuff. You cannot do it wrong. And I do recommend that if you're just starting out with it, you definitely look up some guided meditations. So if you have access to Headspace, that's a great one, a plan that you can get involved in that has great meditations. But you can also just go to YouTube and do a general search on guided meditations. And there's a whole bunch there, or listening to the rain, or listening to the beach and the waves crashing. Anything like that will put you in a meditative state, and then you'll feel good. And it's a great way to just, close off from whatever's going on in the outside, focus on the inside. A lot of people are going to come out of this different people because you've had a chance to just reflect on yourself and your life and where you've been and where you're going, right? So I don't know. I'm actually excited about what the end result of this is going to be for a lot of people. Another thing you can do to de-stress is listen to music. But I'm going to say listen to positive music. You don't want to listen to, a bunch of depressing stuff or things that make you feel hopeless or scared or anxious. You're going to want to surround yourself by positive music that makes you feel good. You can go to Tuned In. You can go to like all sorts of free apps of free music. YouTube's got free music. Lots of ways you can expose yourself to things that lift you up. Maybe go and check out some playlists of stuff from like when you were growing up, a good period of your life. And usually it's when we're teenagers. We can tap into that music and it makes you feel good because it brings those good emotions out, right? With a positive time in your life. Not angry divorce music. That's not what you want. You want some good positive music. I do have an audio stream that I run through my house. It's called Positive Power Audio Stream. Keep it simple, right? And it is free through Tuned In. So if you're interested in that, definitely check it out, add it to your list. Just for, again, it's, positive uplifting, very important. Another thing, still on the music topic, is going onto YouTube and checking out free concerts. There's a bunch that are through Facebook, but there's also a bunch through YouTube, like Pink Floyd just released a whole bunch of concerts. We were watching those the other night. Who else? Prince is releasing a bunch. Just looking up old, like it doesn't have to be old, but the old stuff is the good stuff. Makes you feel good, right? Regardless of how old you are. Another idea of something to do to make you feel good and stay positive is learning something new. Is there something that you've always wanted to try and learn and you just haven't had the time or haven't had the opportunity? Another thing that you can do makes you feel good. Playing games, whether it be board games or card games, solitaire games. I looked up I've been sharing a lot of videos, even more than usual, if you can imagine. So I looked up like old solitaire games. My dad was in the Navy. He was in the British Navy. And he used to teach me all sorts of games. I was grounded a lot when I was like 16, 17. And he used to teach me all sorts of solitaire games that I could do when I was bored. Didn't let me off the grounding, but he gave me tools to do. And like I used to play a clock one or different versions of solitaire he used to teach me. So I've Googled or YouTubed some of those and found out, just to remind myself, am I playing it right? Was there more to it? Whatever. So that's another thing. Also, you could start doodling. You could start painting. One year, couple birthdays ago, we bought all the adult children paint by number kits. And honestly, between all of us, I think we bought five. We bought five altogether. One of them, to my knowledge, has been completed. So I keep thinking, well, maybe I'll go and I'll start working on that again. That's another idea. Another thing too is anything to do with like gardening, getting your hands and that sort of thing, doing puzzle books, like so many things, adult coloring, different things that you can do that really tie in with the meditating. Because when you're working on something, especially coloring, doing art, arts and crafts, stuff like that, you're in your zone. You know, you see people who like knit. My mom was a knitter and a crocheter, and she did all sorts of crafts. And she did it so fast that she didn't even look. Like she'd watch TV and ticka, 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 be doing her thing. And that is like meditating because she's in her zone. You know, I have a brother that does amazing, amazing woodworking. I don't even think he knows how amazing he is. But he does all this woodworking, same thing, in your zone. So meditating doesn't have to be like, doing your thing. It can be in that zone where, you know, you feel good and you're in that flow, you know, go with the flow. When you look at a famous musician and they're doing that guitar work or whatever it is they're doing, they're in that zone. That's going with the flow. That's being in that meditative state. It's all the same thing. And the last thing I wanted to suggest as far as staying positive and staying busy is going through your old photo albums, you know, and I'm not going to take you in my kitchen and show you right now, but years ago, like over the years, we've collected so many photos. And so what I did a couple years ago, and anybody who's been to one of my house parties or just been to my house may have seen it, I took a corner of our kitchen years ago and I took all the photos of like all my friends and family. You don't even know, but you're in my kitchen. You've been there for years. So I just made a collage. I have a couple collages of like just friends and family over the years that like I've cut them out and done all sorts of stuff. But this one was a little sort of simple. So I just lined all the pictures up in row. And there's probably like 2 feet in a corner over my freezer where all the pictures are. And there's pictures of like people I worked with at Fibrex for years. There's family, there's friends, there's people on there that honestly I've never met before, but like they're not creepy, not being creepy. Maybe I am creepy, I don't know. Anyways, so but they're different family members because I have my family that adopted me, and then I have my birth family. So collectively I have not 8 siblings. So pictures of like, I know all, like I've met all them at least twice, but like they're kids that I've never met before. So different pictures they've sent me or I've taken off Facebook because we're friends, again, not being creepy. But so I've been able to print the pictures over the years and I put them on the wall and now I feel I have a connection. And it's super cool actually for my kids and my grandchildren, because then like Gemma, my youngest granddaughter, she's only 2, but I can stand her on the freezer and then she can point out like who her mom's friends are over the years or just connecting. It's just a great thing to do, a great activity that can kill some time and help you feel connected, because you know when we're not seeing those people because we're self-isolating, we're still seeing them in the pictures, you know, reliving those moments. And some of those people, honestly, like they passed now, or relocated or different things. So it's really nice to just have them, have that visual where I can see them and feel like I'm reconnecting with them, you know. So if you ever come to my house, come on in the kitchen and I'm going to show you. Maybe you're up on my wall. You don't even know. Yeah. So staying with the same theme of staying positive and making sure that you have your Facebook as positive as possible. Make sure that you have liked or joined some positive Facebook groups or pages. So for example, this is a good one. It's one that I run and it's Positive Power. And so it's all the time positive posts, whether it's videos, memes, that sort of thing, different pictures to keep you uplifted and feeling positive about yourself. That's very important that we do that. So there's thousands of those pages out there that you can join or like, so that it fills up your news feed with inspiring things. This page here is also another awesome page for you to make sure that you like. Now this one is the quarantine sessions, and it was actually created by a couple Sarnia guys, which is awesome, but it is expanded. It is worldwide now. So you can go on there, make sure you like the page, and then anytime somebody uploads something, there's adults and kids and all sorts of different musicians on there. So every time that they upload a video, it'll go on your newsfeed. And it's interesting because I've had some different friends of mine mentioning that since they've started watching that page, that's their Friday night entertainment, is they hang out. And let's be honest, with smart TVs and everything, you can access a lot of the stuff on a bigger screen now, as opposed to just sitting looking at your tablet or looking at a computer or your phone. So that's what they've been doing. They've been going next, video, and just having a great old time. And you might see somebody you know. So that is like equally awesome, right? To go and see somebody. I actually, when my kids were little, we lived in this one house, and our neighbor had a little girl that was a couple years younger than my daughter, Nicole. And Nicole and Janet, that was the neighbor, they used to, you know, kids, right? Their bedroom windows were across from each other, upstairs over the driveway. And so at night, I'd be like, what is that I'm hearing? And lo and behold, it was Nicole and Janet, and they were chatting to each other when they were supposed to be in bed. I found that girl on this page singing, beautiful voice. I just thought, isn't that funny? Isn't that funny how connected we are? You never know who you're going to run back into. So then, running along the same lines, this is another page that you can go and you can join, and this is the same thing, and it is based on East Coast entertainment and music. But again, I'm sure that they have people from all over the world that are enjoying their pages and their talent. And then this is another one, and this one is based out of Saskatchewan. Same idea, regular people, and you'll see some people that share their music on all three platforms. And I bet no matter where you are, there is a ton more. And maybe if you're not in this area, maybe you'll find somewhere that is a little bit closer to you. But there's a ton out there. And you know, this is one of the beautiful things of the scenario, is people are coming together like never before. And I really hope the local musicians, even once they're back to gigging in regular places, that they really keep this up, because people are loving it. And you just never know. You just never know who you're picking up in that moment. The people who never comment are the ones who quite often have the biggest impact from your acts of kindness, whether it's by sharing your talent, sharing your passion, whatever that might be. And then the last one I wanted to share with you is one that I actually got from my sister out in BC. She sent me a request to join for this page, and it is called Karaoke. And it's all karaoke, all people doing karaoke. So that's another thing. If you're into karaoke, you could share your video on there or just watch other people. Amazing how much talent there is in regular people, right? So another thing that you can add to your list to make sure that you're surrounded with an atmosphere that lifts you up as opposed to bringing you down. So in the other parts of this series, we're going to talk about food, nutrition, mindset, that sort of thing a little bit more. The only thing I didn't really touch on very much was the staying active, which is very important part of us boosting our immune system and staying in that right frame of mind. And so I just made this little slide up for you with just some ideas about staying active. So you want to make sure you're drinking plenty of water. You want to make sure you're stretching every day. You know, setting a new routine for yourself is very important, no matter what that is. It's going to be different for everybody. But, you know, like I think I've transitioned into being a cat, actually. I have random naps now. I wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning sometimes and start reading. But that's okay. You know, that's okay. It's my new normal. And finding out what works for me. But I have different things that I need to create a routine for myself so that I can stay on path, and I am working from home. So it is important that I know when Wednesday morning is so that I can do my virtual meeting, right? Very important that I know that. But staying active is crucial. So, you know, you can go for walks around your neighborhood. So you can't go to the park. That's okay. You can still go for walks. You can still get out, right? Get out and get in that sunshine. You know, it's very important right now that we're boosting our own immune system. At some point, the doors are all going to be open, and we want to make sure internally we're ready. So, you know, get out in the sun, get some vitamin D. If it's cold out, stay inside, but you can still be in the window, you know, so you're getting it that way. You can go up and down your own stairs to do some cardio work. You can use some household items as weights. I work for WW, formerly known as Weight Watchers, and we recommend to our members quite often that, you know, if you're stuck in the house, you can get some cans of spaghetti sauce or some apple juice or something for some little weights for you. Just make sure you have 2 things that are of equal weight. So different things like that you can do. YouTube has so much stuff. They have walking videos, they have yoga videos, they have, you name it, they've got it. You can also go and check out your favorite Facebook pages for gyms or your local groups. Like I know the studio is doing through Zoom, they're doing different classes that they have available. I also saw recently that Fit for Less, they are doing workouts through Facebook Live. You can do that sort of thing. So lots of places that you can go and tap into exercise that's in your level, you know, whether it's just basic beginner stuff or it's stuff that is really advanced stuff. Also, if you have any sort of, like with Weight Watchers, we have Active where it's audio training. So anything like that you have access to, that's another thing you can do. And at the end of the day, Google. You know, we have the internet at our fingertips. We've never had so much ability to access other information. So you can go on Google and just look it up. You know, just look it up. How do I do something? Whatever. I had a girl back when this started, you know, it seems like forever ago, but like a month ago, a friend of mine on Facebook, and she says, does anybody know how to get, how to make macrame plant hangers? I went on YouTube, thousands of videos. I just sent her, that was my good deed of that day. I just sent her the link. Now I see her on Facebook. She's a macrame marvel. She's making all sorts of stuff. So, you know, if you're not sure, Google ideas, how to do something. You always wanted to check something out. Google, check it out. But it also applies to any activity you want to do, just for some simple exercises. Or if, you know, you're somebody who's really hardcore. I have this member. She's so awesome. And she's training for the Ironman competition 2021. And this is super exciting. So we're doing a virtual workshop one day, and we were talking about how she's recreating the things that she needs to achieve in a gym in her own backyard. So like she's using a stump for you know, one of her activities, and then she's got maybe like a punching bag for something else, using her stairs. Like, you know, we're in times where we need to tap into our creativity. And that is exactly what people are doing, and they are just absolutely amazing me. So keep your fitness up. Make sure, you know, even if it's just the basics, if you're not super, you know, like I always say, I'm in the fitness protection program, but there's things that I can still do. I can always do a little bit more than what I did yesterday. And that really is the key. So I think that's it for the things that I wanted to share as part of my contribution to this series about taking control. And so I invite you to watch the other 4 videos that I've done so far. I might add to them. I'm not really sure yet. There's so many things that we could talk about, but I wanted to just really go through the basics of different areas that you could take control because I don't want you to feel powerless, right? Very important that we feel like we have power. So in no particular order, the 4 episodes that I have recorded of interviews include one with Chef Paresh. He's the owner of Personal Touch Eatery and Catering, and we discussed how to stretch your food budget out and the value of shopping local and quality of your food. So that's what we discussed on that episode. Then in another episode, Angie Jackson came on, who is a holistic nutritionist, and same theme, talking about nutrition, but we got more into different things that you can do to help boost your immune system. So very important right now. So on that episode, we talk about actually a lot of things, and I've done various interviews with Angie before. So if you're interested in other ones, definitely look us up, because we've done a bunch, but all about nutrition, and then just a little bit about mindset, a little bit about your immediate surroundings, all sorts of different stuff. So make sure you check that episode out as well. I also did another episode where I had counselor Brian White on. And Brian is involved in so many things. I don't even have a slide for him that just has his name and all his details, because he's a counselor. He's involved in various child and youth programs. He has information about all sorts of things. So my interview with him, we talked about addiction, we talked about suicide, we talked about mental health in general. And, you know, because a lot of people are really struggling with being self-isolated or being quarantined, whatever the case may be. And so it's so very important that we remember in these times that no one's experience is the same, that we reserve judgment, and that we're good and considerate about our neighbors and our friends and our family and what they could be going through as well. And, you know, if we feel like they need help, that we are providing them with the help that they need, or the numbers they need. I'm going to actually be sharing this particular slide all over the place, and I encourage you to share it with other people as well. So it's important that, you know, we don't, yeah, it's just important that we help our fellow people, and we are reaching out to them and letting them know that, you know, if they're going through some additional stuff in addition to everything else that's going on, that there's still a support for them. The Women's Interval Home is open. You know, the homeless shelters are open, and people are supporting them. Just warms my heart. It really does, how in times of crisis, people pull together. And then the last interview that I did was with Chrissy McRoberts from Dog Eat Dog. And she is very well known as well throughout the community. But we just had a morning conversation over coffee while self-isolating about how important it is right now to shop local, to support your local community businesses. So those businesses are trying to stay open, and they're doing a variety of things, you know, delivery, door service, that sort of thing, online sales, how important it is right now that we're supporting those businesses. I mean, I've already heard of more than enough businesses that are not opening their doors again, and hopefully there's no more. So, you know, let's support those businesses. And if there was ever a time that we were going to make sure that we focus on things that come from Canada, come from, you know, our own communities, this is the time. It's so important. Going to your farmer's market, you know, paying attention to where we're putting our money. And I think there's some really good lessons to be learned from that. I really do. So again, thank you very much for watching this video. I hope you got some good tips from it. Feel free to check out all the other videos and make some notes, write some numbers down, get some ideas and share them, because together we lift each other up. You know, together we are better and we are stronger. And I really hope, you know, coming out of this, that we're going to have some redefined relationships. And, you know, maybe people will be, you know, more into memories, less into consuming, more into hugging. Keep washing your hands forever. Not a new thing. A lot of us have been doing that for a long time. But stay safe and look after yourself. And don't forget, you know, you are important. You are an integral part of the society. And, you know, we care about you, and we care that we all make it out of here, and we all make it out of here together. So look after yourself, stay awesome, and don't forget how valuable you are. You really matter. I hope you know that. So take care, and I hope you've enjoyed this series, because I know I've enjoyed putting it together. And like I said, you know, I might add some more videos. There's more people that I was going to add to it. But I could really do this forever, and I thought it was important that I get this out quite quickly. So thanks again. Look after yourself, and don't forget how absolutely awesome you are.